Welcome to Module 5. This module will look at how man's laws sometimes collide with God's laws. Before we do that, let's look at highlights from Module 4, where we weighed the importance of the Sabbath command. Just how important is the Sabbath command? Bodkin's article addressed the weightier laws Christ discussed in Matthew 23:23. How do we know which commandments are weightier and very important, and which are lighter and less important? One way is to look at the penalties for breaking them. If God prescribed the death penalty, a commandment is quite weighty. Another way is to see how much attention the commandment received in the Bible. It is easy to see that the Sabbath is a weightier commandment because it is mentioned over 100 times in the Bible, and God prescribed the death penalty for those who broke it. Also, its instructions take up about 1/3 of the text of the Ten Commandments. MacDonald looked at why the queen of the commandments is so special. First, Exodus 31 shows this is the only commandment that God said is a sign to know the Creator God. So by resting on the seventh day, the sign of the Creator God rests upon us. Second, in Ezekiel 46, God says, the gate of the inner court is to be opened by the prince every millennial Sabbath, as special time and attention by royalty will focus on the Sabbath, just as a king devotes special time and attention to his queen. Third, in Isaiah 58, God says that if we call the Sabbath a delight and honor it, then we will ride on the heights of the land and feast. Riding on the heights refers to being in an elevated position similar to what a queen has in a kingdom. Fourth, it is the only commandment with characteristics similar to the special relationship a queen has in a kingdom, showing that this commandment has a closer place with the king. And when we keep it, we have a closer place with the king. More recently, MacDonald shared even more reasons. Fifth, in an email, he says, the Sabbath is the first of the Ten Commandments mentioned in the Bible. It is the first thing God made holy. It is the only day God blessed and made holy. It is also the one commandment every human being will be tested on, since the opportunity to obey it or not comes every seventh day without fail. Sixth, in a 2020 Sabbath blog, MacDonald writes that in Jeremiah 17, verses 19 through 27, God gave Judah an amazing offer. Just keep the Sabbath commandment and your kings will be honored greatly. Sadly, Judah couldn't even keep this one commandment and shortly thereafter was conquered and burned by an army from Babylon. Seventh, in a 2021 post, MacDonald shares 13 Sabbath promises showing more reasons the queen of the commandments is so special. Two of these promises are from Isaiah 56, which we covered in Module 4 when the Sabbath lady bet a cookie that the Sabbath law was a new covenant command. Thanks for these great additions from Kelly MacDonald, our Bible Sabbath Association president. The Sabbath is indeed an important, weightier law and incredibly special as the queen of the commandments. In Module 5, we will look at what happens when man's laws collide with God's laws. In this module, we'll look at 2 articles and a booklet. In the first article, Godfrey takes us a long way back in history to look at a couple of legal decisions that were of great importance. One was a law passed by Emperor Constantine, which impacted when to worship. Another was an incredible decision at the Council of Laodicea. In the second article, Reeves looks at our Supreme Court and at a number of religious rulings, including a very interesting ruling regarding the Sabbath. Also, you are welcome to read a 19-page booklet titled Rome's Challenge. Why do Protestants keep Sunday? It is not required, so there's no quiz on it. What's it about? In 1893, the World's Fair was held in Chicago. Protestant churches filed a lawsuit that demanded that Sunday blue laws be observed and that the fair be closed on Sundays. The Seventh-day Adventists countered this by showing that the Sabbath was the only day taught in the New Testament. The Supreme Court chose not to interfere in the Sunday opening. In Rome's challenge to the Protestants, Catholics challenged the Protestants to prove that Sunday was authorized by Jesus Christ. A series of 4 articles were published on 4 Sabbaths in a row in 1893. Catholics contended that the Sabbath of the Bible is Saturday. Sunday worship is not found in the Bible. Even more, if Protestants want to base their teachings only on the Bible, they must worship on Saturday. Otherwise, they are accepting the authority of the Catholic Church, which changed the day of worship to Sunday. This booklet is a reprint of those 4 articles.